Hello people, I'm the Real Comic Book Gamer. Today I'm going to be talking about whether or not Superman is always right, completely perfect, always does the right thing, because that's what I hear a lot of people saying, and that's why they think he's boring. This is one of the few Superman subjects I have not covered, because I've talked about a lot of them, but here's one that I hear a lot, all the time, because I'm talking about Superman a good amount, and so whenever I do, I see people saying, hey, he's boring because he's always right and always does the right thing, and I don't like people doing that. It's stupid. They should be screwing up more. Obviously, you guys know my answer. Superman is a flawed individual. He's not always perfect. He doesn't always do the right thing. He does do the right thing a lot of the time. I feel like in the end, he always does the right thing, but I feel like that with most superheroes. I feel like that with Batman. Again, I always compare Superman to Batman because generally that's the sort of polar opposite superhero when it comes to Superman. Like a lot of people who hate Superman love Batman. A lot of people who love Superman hate Batman, and vice versa. That's why I compare the two, because they're generally the sort of polar opposites of each other. And so that's why I compare Superman to Batman a lot in these videos. So yeah, Batman screws up a lot along the way, like with the Bat family and things. And in the end, he morally generally does the right thing, and I feel like that's the same way with Superman. For instance, in Superman Escape from Bizarro World, which was a story written by Jeff Johns and Richard Donner a while ago, and it's a very short story. It doesn't get the recognition it deserves to me. It's not the greatest Superman story ever told, but it is pretty good, and it's really short. How it starts is, it starts with Bizarro breaking into the Kent's home. So Ma and Pa Kent, they go downstairs, they're like, what's going on? They think it's Superman's there, they think their son's there, like, oh, Clark, what are you doing here? Then it turns out it's Bizarro. Bizarro captures Jonathan Kent because he wants a father of his own, because Bizarro has created his own Bizarro world. It's a square-shaped world, and he's just made a bunch of Bizarro versions of everyone. Like there's Bizarro Lois Lane, there's Bizarro Jimmy Olsen, there's Bizarro Lex Luthor, just a whole Bizarro world, bunch of weird random Bizarro people. And so he wants his own father, so he kidnaps Jonathan Kent and he takes him to Bizarro World. Superman finds out, and obviously he wants to go and save his father, so he goes to the world. When he goes there, his whole plan is punch everyone, take Jonathan Kent, and bring him back home. That's his whole plan. But when he gets there, he sort of screws over Bizarro a bit, because he goes and he starts fighting Bizarro Clark Kent. And on that world, you know, no one knows Clark Kent and Superman are one and the same, but it's also opposite in the fact that everyone hates Bizarro, but like they love Clark Kent, because it's sort of like the opposite on Earth. So that's how it is. And when Superman outs him as Bizarro, everyone hates him. Everyone just hates him and wants him to die and wants to kill him. So when that happens, when Superman outs him as Bizarro, Doomsday comes in. Bizarro Doomsday comes. Bizarro Lex Luthor releases him, and he goes to kill Bizarro Superman. And so when Superman goes, I know it's going to be really weird to try to keep track of all the characters when I'm just saying Bizarro and stuff, but anyways, hope you can keep track. So Superman goes, he saves his father, and he's like, okay, let's get out of here. And Pa Kent's like, what, you're not going to help these people? And he's like, Pa, I don't even know if they're really alive. And he's like, you can see them moving around and having motions, they're alive. And then we get some great dialogue between the two characters. Jonathan Kent says, we have to help them all. Superman says, how? This square world is one big madhouse, Dad. And then Jonathan says, it's not their fault they're different, is it? Superman says, they're more than different. And Jonathan Kent says, some would say that about you too. And it's just a great moment showing that Superman still has stuff to learn from his dad, and showing the fact why Superman is generally on the good side of things, why he's generally always doing the right thing. It's because look who he was raised by. Jonathan Kent and Martha Kent, those Ma and Pa Kent, they are the quintessential good parents. They are the ones that instilled him with these moral beliefs of why he is right most of the time. And I love this. I love it. It shows that Superman, even though this is Superman in his prime, he still has stuff to learn from Jonathan Kent, and he is constantly learning. And I love this moment, and it's great. And so, continue through the story arc, Superman ends up helping Bizarro, getting him back to where the public loves him and everything. And it's just, I love it. I love this part of the book. It's so great. I love the story. It's really good. But this moment is so great, because it's just so Superman, he's like, you know, these are a bunch of zombies, I'm gonna go punch them all, take my dad, save him, fly off. And then Jonathan Kent's like, no, they're alive. This Doomsday is going to kill everyone here. You have to stop him because these beings are alive. I love it, because Superman's just like, yeah, but they're, you know, really weird. And he's like, you know, so some people would say you're weird too. Some people would say that you're really different as well. So it's just a great moment. It shows Superman is flawed. He's not perfect on everything. He does get stuff wrong. but generally where it counts, he's right. And also, I feel like part of the character of Superman is that he generally needs to be right about the important stuff. Like, I feel like Jimmy Olsen kind of said it the best in Superman Secret Origins. In this, Clark and Jimmy Olsen have both just moved to Metropolis, and Jimmy was talking about moving from Metropolis back to New York. He's talking to Superman. This is Superman Jimmy Olsen's first meeting, and Jimmy's just like, yeah, my parents never believed in me. They were right. I'm a failure. I should move back to New York. And Superman's like, yeah, I was thinking coming here might have been a mistake myself. And then Jimmy says, the people here only care about what you can do for them. It's like Miss Lane says, the city is a dog that can't stand up because of the weight of its fleas. I guess I'm just one of those fleas. Man, if someone who can fly can't make it, what hope do I have? I think that's a great moment because it shows that we as a people, well, at least some of us readers, if we see Superman constantly screwing up, making the wrong decisions, and not learning from anything, what hope do we have? It's like, hey, if this character, Superman, who was raised by Ma and Pa Kent to always do the right thing, to have good morals, is constantly screwing up and just an incredibly flawed character, then what hope do I have? This guy was raised to always do the right thing, had a great upbringing, and he's just constantly screwing up. That being said, he can still mess up and make mistakes and learn from them, like I said, like I pointed out, and Superman Escape from Bizarro World. He can do that, but if he's constantly doing, if he's messing up as much as Batman, because Batman has screwed up a lot with the Bat Family thing, is like making the wrong decision a lot, but again, in the end, he is always making like sort of the morally right decision. If Superman's constantly doing that, I feel like he loses some of himself. Because I don't want every character to be Batman. Just like I don't want every character to be Superman. I like the fact that they're unique. And I like the fact that Superman generally does the right thing. Just like Captain America. Captain America is the same way. He's always did the right thing. And that's Superman here. Again, he does screw up, like I pointed out. But he's not constantly messing up with everything he's doing. That would take away from the inspiring aspect of the character. I made a video before talking about how he can be relatable and inspiring at the same time. I went in big time in depth about how he is relatable and inspiring to me, and I feel like this adds to that, this whole thing that he does generally do the right thing. That is inspiring, and it makes me want to be more like that. It makes me try to be more like that. And also, for some reason, there's this stigma attached to people who try to do the right thing, and it's just that they're boring Boy Scouts. I don't get that. I honestly like it when characters, well, when specifically superheroes try to do the right thing. I like that. I don't want my superheroes constantly being like, hey, I did this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong. I'm like, why are you a superhero again? You should really quit your job if you suck at it so bad. For instance, Deathstroke, my second favorite comic book hero, he's an anti-hero. He screws up a lot. Like, what he's done with his family is terrible, and he realizes that, but he screws up a lot. He's very flawed, but he's not a superhero. He's an anti-hero that's trying to figure out his way and for himself, but at the same time, he's got a moral code, and it's just a very interesting character with a lot of different things going on. To where Superman is a character that was raised right and was told to do the right thing, and that doing the right thing was good, and he enjoyed doing the right thing. When he helped people and he saved people, he liked the feeling he got. Most people do. When you do something good, you generally have a good feeling. When you do something charitable or something like that, you generally get a feeling like, yeah, that was nice, I should do that more often. And that's what Superman gets. And again, I like seeing superheroes that are heroes. I like that. I don't know why some people think it's boring, but yeah. So please let me know in the comments below. Did you guys like this video? What did you think of it? Also, what are your thoughts on this subject? Do you think Superman's a boring Boy Scout that always does the right thing? Or you find that he generally does the right thing and you do realize the fact that, hey, he does screw up from time to time? Because that's how I feel about it, is the fact that he does screw up from time to time. Not really often, but he does. And in terms of, like, if we're talking more than just moral stuff, he screws up a lot in terms of, like, when he goes and confronts a villain. Superman is constantly screwing up and having to learn how to beat a villain later on by that, but we're not talking about that. So yeah, please let me know in the comments below what your thoughts on all of that are, and I'll see you guys in the next one.